Oh, hello, everybody, and welcome to the resurrection of Live at the Hive after a little bit of a break. Sorry about that, but it was due to several circumstances. We are hopefully back now, and I hope you can hear me okay, and I hope you're going to enjoy what we got for you this afternoon. We have Martina, who's on the camera, and we've also got Steve McGrath, who's taken over from Richard Senior, who did a really good job, and he is in the nerve centre, 30 miles away, 30 odd miles away. So I hope I'm not putting too much pressure on him, but as you can see from the past recordings, Richard really did an excellent job. What I try to do is have something that's interesting, so I don't do too much planning beforehand, but I've got a hive behind me that I've only looked at once this year, and I thought that would be ideal to start with until about 3 o'clock. And I came down to have a look, make sure everything was okay and nothing was being robbed out or anything like that. And this hive here, which is basically empty, there's some few combs in here. I saw bees going in, obviously scout bees. Anyway, about 5 minutes later, I spoke to my neighbour, and he said, "Oh, there's a swarm of bees just gone down your garden," and somebody reported it to him on a footpath, well, 150 yards away, I would think. So it's come across all the houses into this hive. I did send Steve a few still photographs of it 5 minutes or so after it come in, perhaps 10 minutes after it come in, and they're very definitely not my bees, because they're bright yellow jobbies. I don't know if Steve's able to put that photograph up or not. Are you able, Steve?
I am, Roger. It's actually in the background while you're speaking. So
okay, right. Yeah, they're very definitely not mine, which it doesn't exactly annoy me, but I thought I was the only beekeeper left in the village. Clearly I'm not, because they're very, very definitely not mine. And bees as yellow as this, I never ever see in a free living situation if they've overwintered. Yes, if they've only just gone in there, yes, I have. So I'm pretty certain they've come from a managed colony within sort of half a mile or so of me. So that probably explains why in the last year or two I've had some what I call mismatings. So I need to be a little bit aware of that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a look in here and see what the bees have done. From memory, we've got a full brood chamber of new comb at the bottom there, and we've got a brood chamber above. There's about half full of old comb, and I believe there's a queen excluder on the top of that, just to sort of keep the mice out. But anyway, we'll just have a look and see what we can do. If we can put it into a hive, then I think that's what we'll do. I've just cobbled together a floor and a ground board, and I hope we can do something with it. If we can find the queen and she's fertile, obviously I'll clip her. Quite frankly, if she's a virgin, I'll still clip her anyway, because I'll obviously knock her on the head. Because I guess, but I don't know, that she's going to be fairly yellow. So, okay, I'll get kitted up and away we go. Oh, just beforehand, most of you know what I've been writing and talking about, bees coming into a home where energy lines are across. I haven't done this. Martina's actually just witnessed me bring these from the back of the apiary. Let's just see how many, if any, are going through here. There's one. Two. Three. It's quite a lot. 4. I think we say there's at least 5 going through there. I don't think I've ever come across somewhere with less than 4. So it's obviously quite an attractive place, a place for them. I understand that some people won't accept that, but if you don't, then please carry on, because all the rest of it won't be what one might term pseudoscience. So here we go. I've been given a new microphone to use, and I hope this will go a lot better than the old one did. So let's just have a look, see what we got. They're obviously going in through the roof somehow. This is one of my roofs, and there's usually a little gap in the corner. All right, there they are. Do you want to photograph that, Martina? You do it? You okay? I won't poke and prod them around too much, because they might just take flight. They're not particularly big, so it might be a cast. I'll tell you what, I'll get my marking and clipping kit out quickly. I hope these will be fairly loose. From memory, they're combs that have come through overwintered colonies that I was going to replace. Now, straight away, I think what I'll do is I'll raise some of the combs up from the bottom, and I might actually put a floor on the bottom brood box. We'll just see. I won't over smoke them, because it'll make the queen run away. Now you can see the little yellow jobbies. I'm afraid I'm seeing more and more of these, but they just do not survive in the wild, not for any length of time anyway. I don't know if you're aware or not, but at the end of the 1930s at Rothamsted, they discovered that 70% of the bees in a swarm were less than 10 days old. So they obviously haven't flown. Interesting, there's one there doing a waggle dance. I'm not going to overdo this, because being as small as this, it could well be a cast. Virgin queens are always a lot more flighty than fertile queens, and you might take wing. Now, I don't know if anybody's aware or not. I don't make a big issue of it, but I've not got very good sight in my left eye at the moment, so I'm really just working with one of them, with one eye. What I'm finding is that I'm struggling to get distance. I'm expecting the queen to be bright yellow. That's really what I'm fixing my mind on. Now we've had a nectar dearth here for several weeks, and I think we're just coming back into a little bit of a flow, not very much, but the blackberry's just coming out. Now I'm in West Sussex, so I guess you folk a bit further up country, maybe a week or two behind me. Of course, she could be on the outside there. She's obviously here, otherwise they were cleared off home by now. Now, of course, there's always a danger when you're taking a swarm like this. Oh, there she is. And I think she's fertile. The way she's moving. All right. So I hope I'll get this right. You all right? Hope I'll get this right, but don't forget I've only got one eye. You might have to help me, Martine. I've lost her now. Oh, there she is. So do you want to see me transfer her over to the other hand so that she grabs hold of me? Look. Push her down so the thorax can be gripped. I've done this ever so many times. Just mark her. Looks like the pen's drying out. And then clip her. Don't forget to get both wings one side. Okay. I put them in clips now. Right, now that swarm's not going anywhere. So what I can do is put frames back. Now what I could do is to shake all the bees off these combs because they haven't put any food in there. Shake all the bees off the combs, put them on foundation, and then leave them for a couple of 3 days, so that what they bring with them they turn into wax for comb building, and hopefully that will get rid of any foul brood that might be there. I'm going to take a little bit of a flyer on it and put this colony back together. And then obviously I will keep an eye on it for a few weeks. I think they're a little bit bigger than they look to start with. No smoke are really needed. I'm just trying to get the bees off the lugs. Ouch. Pinch that one. I was working all day yesterday on bees. Well, I'd say all day, from about first colony was about 8:30 in the morning till about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I didn't get a sting. Right, so what we've got here are combs that are built above a queen excluder as a super. So instead of putting foundation in the brood chamber, I like to put them above a queen excluder, effectively run as a super, and you get really good combs like that. Whereas if you do it in the brood chamber, you can get poor combs. Right. Look at the bees that found the queen. Look. Right, now I'm going to leave that as it is. The bees are over this side, look. So if they do anything, they'll probably go down. It might be a case of in a day or two's time, just swapping it over, and then I'll bring it down to one box. If anybody's interested, that brood chamber that's at the bottom is a WBC with plinths around the outside. I've basically converted it to a national. Right, here we go. That cage is full of bees, look. So now we'll put a ground board on the top of that. I'll leave the hole open so the bees can come through the gaps and into there. So I've got the queen in there. Right, okay. I'm going to knock these out on the ground so I don't squash them, and they hopefully will get called back by the others. I'll tell you what else I'll do. I'll just slightly move that apart. So they can get in and out of there if they want to. Okay. Well, there wasn't one. They were going in through the roof, and that's where they'll be orientating to. But if I can get them going into there, they started. Look, if I can get them going into there, then I can put this on a floor. Perhaps tomorrow or the day after. Right. But look at this, where the queen was. Look. Huh. Right, so I think everything is okay. Right. Okay. Right, now if there were no bees gone into the bottom, what I would have done was put the floor on top there. I suppose I could have shaken them out, but we're a little bit short of time because I think we want to get onto something else. So, do you want to get onto something else or leave it at that, Steve?
Yeah, I think so, Roger. Let's move on to the next. That was good. Thank you.
Oh, right. Yeah, okay. All right. And yeah, what I've got is a colony over there that that's only been looked at once this year. There are reasons for that, which I'll tell you about. I've not been as well quite as I'd like to be, and I have been a bit struggling just a bit, and also the weather has been absolutely appalling. Not really a beekeeping weather. So I have been struggling. I should struggle a bit more if I don't have some water. Right, so you can see, folks, this is real beekeeping. That wasn't set up. Right, so I have actually looked at all the others, 1 by 1 or 2 by 2 or whatever, and this is the last one. So I thought I'd leave it till this evening and show you on live at the Hive. As I split it open, you'll see that nothing's been set up, so I really don't know what I'm going to find in there. I don't know about the rest of beekeepers, but I've spoken to several, certainly older beekeepers, who can't really understand what's happening this year. You can have 2 colonies side by side in roughly the same condition, and in normal circumstances, they both develop in roughly the same level. But for some strange reason, this year, what you find is that one's got 2 supers full of honey, and the one next to it is absolutely starving, and I really don't know why. I spoke to, as I say, several experienced beekeepers, and they've never known anything like it either. So, better get a bit puff going. So, as always, just look at the entrance. And yep, this one. All it had was a spring clean and 2 supers put on. So I will use my oh no, I can't. I lost my wedge. So okay. Oh, there's certainly something in there. So this is back to old-fashioned. Oh crikey. I'm afraid I'm supposed not to do any lifting. Yeah, I suppose not. I'll certainly put another super on there, if not 2. So we could well have queen cells in here. But this is the sort of thing that happens, you see, when with an ordinary beekeeper. If something happens, I mean, I was not very well in a couple of instances, and I just couldn't do the work, and I had loads of other things going on as well. But that's what we're doing with Live at the Hive. We're really replicating what ordinary beekeepers have to deal with. So okay, well, they don't look as if they swarmed. Normally you can have a look down the tops of the top bars, and you can see queen cells. There's nothing here at the moment. So for those who haven't seen it before and think the castellations in brood chambers are no, must never ever have them because nobody else has them. Here they are, and Patterson's been using them for 55, nearly 60 years. And in fact, a lot of people in my area do. So I'm actually going to go through the whole colony. I wouldn't normally, if it was a regular inspection, I would just go through 3 or 4 frames in the middle and leave it at that. But because I haven't been through the colony at all, I'm just going to go through the whole lot. The technique with castellations is just to lift the frame out of the slots, push it away from it till you just feel a bit of resistance. Same with the next one, and very often you can get the next frame out. That still seems a bit tight, so push it up, and then this one will come out. So joggle it around a bit like that so it doesn't tighten up. And I can see, oh, I've got brood on it. It's quite an old comb, but brood on there. Now it'll be interesting to see. It's well, at the end of the day, we've had quite a good day. They've been flying quite well. It'll be interesting to see how much nectar there is in the middle of the brood chamber, because that'll give us a clue as to what the nectar flow is. There is brood on outside there. I'm looking for a queen, and I really don't know if she's marked or not. As I say, I've only got one eye, so I'm working at 50% efficiency at the moment. So I can't see her on there, so what I'm going to do is shake the bees off. Now, if I haven't seen the queen, I shake the bees off crossways like so. Just have a quick look to see if the queen has stayed on there, and I then put that down at the front. And providing you haven't got a nectar dearth, you should be okay. Incidentally, I saw some quite a bit of nectar on there. Yeah, the next frame, I pull it towards you so you don't rub the faces. Always look on what I call the dark side of the comb first, because that's where the queen is likely to be. There's a nice drone comb there. She's laying up pretty well. Brooding all stages on that comb. Now, what I usually do with the first comb out of a colony, it's got brooding all stages, is to have a look for the queen. If I can't find the queen, shake the bees off, and then have a look at the sealed worker brood for signs of American foul brood. That all looks pretty good to me. And unsealed, at that stage there, can you get into there, Martina? That stage there is just about to be sealed. And if the colony is infected with European foul brood, it's at that stage that that you'll see it. You need to know what the signs are. They lose their shape, they lose their segmentation, and they turn a sort of creamy colour. So remember, white, bright, and curled up tight. And if it's none of those, just have a look and see what it is. That, despite being quite an old comb, is I think quite good. So I haven't got to look for the rest of the colony for foul brood, and it only takes a few seconds. So I'm now going to go through at roughly a normal sort of pace, unless of course I see something that that I want to point out. because we've already lost 20 minutes on a yellow swarm. Don't forget, look at the dark side of the comb first. As far as bees are concerned, I know they've had a little bit of shaking about, but they're just a little bit sort of mobile. I haven't got a problem with that. It's when they rush around that I've got a problem with. They're a little bit of a mixture. If you can get up a bit closer, Martina, you can see that some are fairly dark, like that one there, and there's others that have got yellow here. That's obviously because of the variety of bees that we got locally. Okay. So all I do is just rest them on the lugs, so I know they've got to go back, and I've had a look at them. This is actually a really nice colony, and I'm actually going to put two supers on it because the blackberries just come out.
Roger, can I just ask you, what's making you say this is a really nice colony? What traits are you?
Yeah, it's a big colony. They're behaving themselves quite well, and although I wouldn't breed from it because of the variety, I'm going to keep it because the drones are nice and dark, so the queen's putting out nice drones. And what you can do is just have a look on the side of the drones, pick the drones up by the wings, look on their side, and the edges of the segments, if they're darkish, you're usually okay. Sometimes you get them with they're black on their back, and the side of the segment is yellow. I wouldn't keep them, but I would keep this. Definitely not a breeding colony, but it's worth keeping. Now here you've got quite a variety of pollen colours, and that's really good. You've got a mixture there of pollen and bee bread. Don't ask me how bees make bee bread. Nick Morby's the man to ask for that, because he's knowledgeable about bee bread. Okay, so I'll put that back. I'm probably going to struggle to find the queen here because I'm not really concentrating. And for anybody to say that you can't get enough bees, sort of locally adapted bees in a colony to get nectar, well, I think this one's actually doing pretty well. In 2019, I went to a commercial beekeeper in Canada. I was at Apimondia, and I got invited to go and see him. I think he got 700 colonies, and he employed some of his staff came from Thailand, and they were absolutely brilliant at finding queens. They just out and have a look at both sides, and actually put them on the ground on the bottom bars, and then leant them up against the hive, and they knelt on the ground. I've never seen anything like it.
Roger, question for you: would this queen be marked if it's come through the winter?
I don't really know. I didn't look at the last year's sheet, but in any case, what I'm finding is that as you know, so many queens are being superseded these days. She should be marked. If she was a late one, the chances are she wasn't. But everything's I think pretty good here. We've got some different colours of pollen on this frame, strangely. If you want me to speed up, Steve, then tell me so.
No, keep going.
You've got quite a lot of drones here. Now, the attitude towards drones has changed very much over the years. Before I started keeping bees, a lot of beekeepers had drone traps, and I may be wrong. I can't find out much information, but I suspect that somebody during the wartime had decided that because drones were a drain on the colony, burden to the colony, taking more food, if they denuded the colony of drones, they would get more honey. So a lot of beekeepers had drone traps, but they didn't use them. And I asked why, and the answer was that as soon as you take the drones out of a colony, they lose morale and they don't work. So that's a change in attitude about drones. In fact, only the last few days I've heard somebody who should know better say that, well, I think they should know better anyway, say that drone's only job is to mate with the queen. Well, of course, we now know that's not wrong. They've got other purposes as well. Incidentally, the temperature of the brood nest in the centre is around about 34.5 degrees, plus or minus half a degree, I think. It's very, very tight. And at Whisper Green, Whisper Green Beekeepers Association, about 10 years ago, we got involved in finding out what the temperatures was when you opened it and when you closed it. And surprisingly, it takes about 5 minutes for the colony to recover back to the 34.5 degrees. Absolutely amazing. And I know I've given the game away, but I've asked so many people, and how long, and they guess anything up to 2 days, like sort of 2 hours or 24 hours or whatever. And it's 5 minutes. That's a really good frame of brood. Now, if I was making up a 2-frame nuke, that's absolutely ideal. Well covered with bees, and it's a full comb of sealed brood. Now, don't forget, a frame of brood, when it emerges, you get 3 frames of bees. So that is going to be the best part of 3 frames of bees. So this colony is going to be absolutely massive in a couple of weeks. So I hope the blackberry comes out this year, because we haven't got much else. I may struggle to find the queen on here, but I'll have a brief look on the way back. The person who asked the question about marking, I think might have the answer now. But on the other hand, I've been rattling away, and I haven't really been concentrating. I've been looking for various other bits and pieces to show you all to talk about. I'll tell you what, I've got Martina right beside me. I'll leave it to her to try and find her. Right, so I'll put that back now. That is actually, for my liking, quite a prolific queen, but I'm okay with that. You can still keep on a single brood chamber. I know some people say put her on brood and a half or 14 by 12 or something, but I work entirely on single British standard anyway. I think somebody ought to devise a queen finding race. I think that'd be quite interesting. Yeah. Well, I've already done queen clipping and marking, so you've got to there's your answer. Look. Yeah. I think for the bees are a little bit flighty because the queen is. Well spotted, Martina. I knew if I hold the frame up there long enough, you'd find her. I will remark her actually. Can you find her twice? Oh, I've got something. Yeah. I've done this ever so many times on my own. So just hang on to it. Don't touch the thorax, the abdomen, whatever you do. Right, let's see. I've got a black marking pen there. They're really useful, especially for beginners. I'm going to have to get another pen. Okay. So, Steve, can you organise a whip round amongst the viewers to buy me another pen, please?
Sure, we can manage that, Roger.
Right. And now the trick is what do you do with that? You don't put it in your pocket, put it down there. All right, the bees might climb all over it, but you won't forget to put it in. Well done, Martina. That's good. Yeah, she looks a good. So I wouldn't use her for raising queens, although if you do, and that's all you've got, then you might have a bit of selection to do and culling, and well, not culling, but replacing. I think you'll get quite a bit of a variation out of a colony like this. Right, now I've got to reverse what I did. Look what they found her. Look. The reason I put her in there is to let the paint dry. Now let me show you something.
Roger, I think you just answered this question actually, but we have a question from the audience saying, "Why did you put the queen in the clip rather than running her straight in?"
It's to get the paint to dry. Yeah. Yeah. Don't forget it's water based. This stuff. Now, if you get a queen cage like that, chuck it in the bin or give it to somebody you don't like. Because I kept losing queens out of that, and I wondered why. I was sort of looking in the back here and all sorts of things like that. And then I caught a queen halfway out of one of those. And in fact, I put it in one of the articles in BBK News. I should think 3 or 4 years ago now. Yeah. Yeah, that's right, so the paint can dry. Now, if you've got solvent-based paint, then you haven't got to bother. I'm going to make sure this goes the right way around, although it doesn't matter too much. You can see here, look, the bees have chewed it down, but they haven't rebuilt it. That comb is actually quite old. Be interesting to see how what the state of passengers and pathogens is in that. So here we go.
So Roger, and we've picked up again on your comments on drones, and there's a question here about, apart from mating, and I'll add, and eating honey, what else do drones do?
Oh, I'm pretty certain they keep the temperature up. There she goes down inside. Yeah, I'm pretty certain they keep the temperature up. Who's the German guy? He's got quite a lot of them. Touts, Jürgen Touts. Now I'm going to put a couple of supers on there. They're quite heavy, and I'm hoping that the bramble will come out. But also, have a look at the colony. That is going to be much bigger in a couple of weeks, simply because of the amount of sealed brooderies there. They will need somewhere to go, and a couple of empty supers will be an ideal place. I just wish I had my my wedge here, because it would be a lot easier to operate this. Right, I'm going to get a couple of supers.
While you're doing that, Roger, a question on the clip. Would you use the same clip for a series of queens without cleaning it?
Yeah. I never cleaned it. Never cleaned it. Right, now I don't expect you following me, not that it matters too much, but I do clean the supers up, ready for the season. Now, what you've got to watch out for is that you don't get cobwebs in, because if you do, a bit like this, because of course the bees get caught up in them. So just take that comb out, and then if you try to pull that off, there's another one here, look. If you try to pull that off, you'll make a mess of it. So what I find is, if you turn it upside down like that, you can pull it off quite easily, like that. Look. See? That will be a problem. Of course, the bees are going to get caught up in that. So I really would like the waggle wedge for this, but I'm afraid it looks as it got left in the car. But don't forget, I run on a top bee space. So when I put the queen excluder down, I'll put the excluder bit level with the base, the wire level with the base. Our way of doing things without the waggle wedge is just to tap that down like that. A bit of smoke. One super on. This one here has been made out of a WBC super. Just a quick look down there. We got another one. And then I always put a bit of smoke underneath there. I don't know how many times I've lifted supers off something, and the bees have come out from underneath and nailed me my jeans to my knees. Not much fun. I shouldn't be doing this. Right, okay. Now, filling in the record sheet. It's quite simple. Put a date in, 9th of June. Ah, look at the spiders. See, there's a lot more to beekeeping than just the bees in the box. Okay, look at spiders. So this should tell you that this is not recorded. So 9th of June. Is a queen laying? Yes. Is she clipped and marked? Yes. Any queen cells? No. That's all of my normal records. But I reckon the temper of those was pretty good. I'd never give anything 10 out of 10 because I always reckon that there's room for improvement. Ask my children about that. So I always give them 9, and I didn't get a sting. No attempt at a sting, no bees buzzing off a veil or anything like that. They're only rough, scruffy old mongrels, and I think they behaved themselves pretty well. And then the other one is calmness on the comb. So I think probably for my marking, I will give them 8, perhaps 7 if I was feeling a bit less generous. But I think they're probably 8. Don't forget they've been open a lot longer than they should be. And then as far as my groups, which I've mentioned on my talks, groups A, B and C, I'm going to call them C because I'm going to leave them to produce drones, because I think drones are going to be okay. It's just it's unfortunate that the queen mated with some monkeys that are out there. So that's it. No need for comment. And that's it. Colony done. It took a lot longer than it should have done, mainly because it took Martina a long time to find the queen. And that's it. So I think we'll call that a day. I have got loads of other things for you, but we can leave some of those till another time. So
and Roger, we're gonna be upping the pace of these for a while, aren't we?
I don't know, are we?
Well, we're going to be back on live soon.
Well, yeah, I hope to go to the States from the 20th of June onwards. So I think probably one more. I'll tell you what I did have lined up for later. I've got a hive here with a queen that, a queen cell that's put in 2 days ago, I think 3 days ago. Should have emerged by now. So we could have looked for a virgin queen there. There's a small nuke here. Well, say small nuke, it's on about 4 frames. And I made it up, put it in the position of another colony. And I came down and I gave it a frame of food. And I put it on the side of the box. And the entrance to the box is in the middle. And I came down here one evening and they were very, very active. And I thought, hang on, there's something going on here. But it wasn't. It wasn't robbing as we know it. And I wonder what it was. And it was silent robbing. And this is something that happens quite regularly, but very few people teach it. So it's that one there. And I've got a little nuke over there that had a queen, should have emerged about 10 or 12 days ago. And just to look to see if she started laying. So you know, it is a bit of a spontaneous sort of thing live at the hive. We can just sail through, or we can find something like this, which is that one there, which is unexpected. I see they're still flying around there. They can't go far because the queen's clipped. So that, I think, Richard, will be it for tonight. More happy to take any questions if anybody's got anything, or even comments, because everybody learns by talking to other people.
Just one last comment then, saying lovely insight. Thank you very much, Roger.
Oh, right. Okay. Is that it then?
Yeah, we've been through all the questions.
Oh, right. Okay. And you haven't got any, Ian?
No more. No more. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Good.
All right.
Thanks, Roger.
So,
Have a good evening.
yeah, and the rest of you, and thanks very much for watching. Fun to see what they've done.